Welcome to our P&O Aurora 4-night cruise to Rotterdam. In this video, we embark the ship, we explore our cabin, sail away from Southampton, we dress up for formal night, we enjoy some of the onboard entertainment, and some of the onboard bars and restaurants. We started our day at Mayflower Park, where we could see the Aurora tucked behind MSC Euribia. We caught an Uber to the Mayflower cruise terminal, checked in our bags, checked ourselves in, and after a short wait, got to board the ship. We were excited to have a look around the ship, as we wanted to sail on Aurora for some time. First impressions? Looked good. And after checking in at our muster station in Anderson's bar, we headed up to the buffet for a bit of lunch. We both had salad and some cold meats, and we were both quite happy with the selection and quality available. From there, we headed up to the Crow's Nest, which looks like a really nice bar. We got ourselves a drink and settled down to wait for the cabins to be ready, which didn't take long. So we went down to our room on deck 8. We'd booked a standard outside cabin, and it was in very good condition, and a nice layout. And the bathroom was nice, if a little dated, like most cruise ships of this vintage. But had the added advantage of a bath. With our hand luggage dropped off, we had a look around the atrium area, and down a deck into Charlie's piano bar. Then headed to Raffles Bar on deck 8 near our cabin and settled ourselves there. Top tip, this is the main coffee bar on board, but they're quite happy to sell you a glass of wine or a beer instead. Drinks finished, we headed up to the top deck, making the most of the early spring sunshine and having a look around. The Riviera pool was closed for most of this trip, but there are 2 more pools on board, so I doubt this was too much of an issue for anyone. We found ourselves back at the Crow's Nest again, where it seemed rude not to have a quick beer and a cocktail. I went out on deck to watch the sail away from Southampton. As I could feel the ship's engines running. We moved slowly away from the quayside and then out past the MSC Euribia. It's a very nice looking ship. And there were lots of folk waving from their balconies. So we waved back as we sailed past them. From there, our ship sailed on down the Solent. We went back inside, and then down to our cabin to unpack and to get changed for dinner. After watching land fade into the twilight behind us, we took a rather cold and windy stroll along the prom deck, before heading upper deck to the glass house, where we had a very nice glass of wine. Then we headed to the Alexandria main dining room for dinner. This is one of two main dining rooms on board, and we had the late dinner sitting at 8:30 p.m. Dinner was quite nice. I started with chicken croquettes, and Suze had ham and lentil soup. For main, I had the roast lamb, and Suze had spiced cauliflower and lentil pie, which she really enjoyed. And we both had the sticky toffee pudding for dessert. After our dinner, we went for a stroll around the ship. Passing by the rather psychedelic pink crystal pool, and the Riviera pool. Before ending up back in the crow's nest. Which was swiftly becoming our favourite place on board. After one quick drink though, we wanted to explore more on our first night on board. So we headed back down to deck 7. and went to check out Carmen's, where there was some live music on. It was absolutely packed though, in standing room only. So we went along to a much more peaceful Anderson's for a nightcap. And then upstairs to the buffet for late night snacks, where I had some currywurst and mixed carbs. Then we headed off to bed. We'd enjoyed our first day on board, and we were looking forward to exploring more of the ship tomorrow. We started our day with a nice full English in the Medina main dining room. Then we went out for some fresh air on prom deck. And headed to the aft to check out the wake views. We were both a little tired still from the night before. We headed up to the terrace pool on deck 8, which has these lovely scalloped, tiered decks, reminiscent of old ocean liners. One lady was braving the cold morning and having a swim, although the pool temperature was pretty decent. From there we went up to sun deck, which is deck 13. It was pretty quiet out as it was cold and windy. There's plenty of activities to do on board. Some folks were playing table tennis in the Sky Dome. There's the shuffleboard area. And a few hardy souls were playing tennis in the rather strong, rather cold wind. There's also a few golf nets, but we didn't see anybody using these. As we were getting rather cold now, we went back inside and popped into the onboard library to have a quick look. There's quite an extensive selection of books and a few computers as well. From there we popped into the Lido Grill on deck 12 and had a very tasty cheeseburger and fries for lunch. And then headed back out on deck to check out some of the shipping and make the most of the sea air and sea views. We headed down to Raffles on deck 8 to have a nice cup of coffee and warm up a little bit. Then we wandered round the ship some more. Before, inevitably it seems, ending up back at the crow's nest for a sit down and a drink. We hadn't been there long before the Aurora Orchestra turned up and began to practice their jazz and big band set that they were going to play later. After enjoying this, we went to get some afternoon tea at the buffet. I had some curry and rice, and Suze went for the more traditional option. Some more time on deck followed, of course. This is one of the best things about cruising. Getting to spend so much time just standing gazing at the sea. We then headed back to our cabin. And I found a good spot for some more ocean views, as our windowsill made a quite nice seat with a really nice view. We'd settled into our cabin by now and we really liked it. It felt cosy and comfortable, with pretty much everything we needed. The only slight downside was the TV, which stuck out into the cabin and had a pretty lacklustre channel selection. We don't watch much TV on a cruise though, so it wasn't a major issue. We got changed for celebration night and took the lift to the crow's nest, of course. To watch the Onboard orchestra perform what was a very enjoyable set of jazz and big band classics. From there we went down to dinner, which was the P&O signature Marco Pierre White menu. We had an amuse-bouche of strawberry Bloody Mary, which wasn't really to either of our taste. For starter, I had salmon ceviche, and Suze had mushroom and blue cheese cannelloni. Taittinger is a bit of a bargain on P&O, so we had a bottle with dinner, which was a very good choice. For our mains, we both had the fillet of beef with garlic prawns. And we both finished with the cherry and hazelnut daiquoise. Overall, it was a very pleasant meal, which we finished with a couple of drinks in a crow's nest, of course. Then had an eclectic mix in the late night buffet, before heading to bed, as tomorrow we're arriving early in Rotterdam. Thanks for watching, we really hope you enjoyed the video, and we'd be grateful if you give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel.